welcome to another edition of the Nonstop Culture podcast. I'm your host, Jeff J. You want to find us on all social media. It's at Nonstop Culture. We're at Nonstop Culture on YouTube, SoundCloud, iTunes, basically anywhere that's digital. You want to subscribe to our podcast, nonstopculture.com/subscribe. Email us, info@nonstopculture.com if you have a question for us. And leave us a 5-star review on iTunes. Do that so we can read it. We can embrace you. We can have dialogue on what you think about our show. We need that. Communication is key. That is the one platitude I will give you for the week. Because I have a billion, and I won't bleed your eardrums with them. But anyway, this week I'm joined by my friend Joy. Joined by Joy. You should do that. I'm not even going to copyright it and make money off of it. You should take that right now. And you have evidence now.
But what's funny is that, like, I've been making my rounds across, like, my various different friends' podcasts. So, like, I did Extra Fifth with Justin over on Three Fifths podcast, me and Steph. I will from the Lemonade Show. We just did one. I'm doing this now. Me and Steph are going to be recording in a couple of weeks about my favorite topic, Wonder Woman.
Which comes out June 2nd, by the way.
Yes, June 2nd. Promo, shameless plug. Go on my Twitter if
Wonder
you want to
Woman,
see.
June 2nd. Cop that, cop that, cop that. We got fire tracks. We got features. Cop that, cop that.
Oh my God. I feel like I did have put the marketing of Wonder Woman on my back. I feel it, like I feel the weight of the world on my shoulders. Like any chance I can be like, and gotta hit my Jehovah's Witness. Have you heard about our Lord and Savior, Diana?
Princess of the Mascara. The way you go hard, I would have thought that Mascara was in the 6th borough.
Dog. Like
I'm expecting to see Amazons and Tims.
I've been repping Themyscira like it's the South Bronx where I'm from. Like throwing up the X.
I'm expecting to see Amazons walking around with Tims soon.
Oh my God, please don't.
Golden Tims.
That would actually be a great, if somebody wants to take that as a cosplay and be New York Amazons, I will be off. Where will you be at? I will gladly take pictures of y'all.
Well,
I will gladly do my due diligence to make sure that this is spread across social media. So if somebody does it, please do it.
They got the gladiator sandals. Everybody got them.
But that would be hot though. Like it actually, think about it this way. Like picture this. Amazons, not in regular Tims, the heel Tims.
With mad God writings on them and shit.
Yo, if they could take a Montclair jacket and cut it up and make it into a whole outfit, that would be everything. Now I'm thinking about it. Fake jewelry. Yeah. No, that would be kind of hot. Get a Montclair or cut it up. Some Tims. You got there's makings here. A full true instead of the tiara, you'd cut a Yankee fitted. That'd be great.
You know what? I wish I never took you down this road.
Now I'm thinking about it, and I just want somebody to do it because I don't have the tenacity nor the boldness to do it. But I would highly encourage. Side note, every time I'm on your podcast, we always go down a New York path.
It's only right. It's only right. Yeah, it somehow devolves into a New York conversation, which is 90% of the conversations that happens with New Yorkers, and it's fine.
We're very few and far between in this city now, in 2017, because a lot of the folks that live here, quite frankly, are transplants, which is not a bad thing. But people who are native New Yorkers, there's something about meeting a fellow native New Yorker, you light up on the inside. You'd be like, what area are you from? What borough? You get so excited.
Right. It's hilarious. I bet you the first time I met you in person was New York Comic Con, right?
Yes,
it was New York Comic Con. It is unless you've been unless your ears don't really work like that, or you can't really distinguish. It's hard. If I don't hide it, you can tell I'm from New York. So I think the minute I met you, you were like, "You're from New York?" Like, well, how did you guess?
That's the thing. I realized this about me. I try to not speak as if I'm from New York, but if I'm with other New Yorkers in person, it just kind of comes out.
Oh yeah.
So there's one time I went to my friend's birthday brunch, and two of her friends are from the Bronx, and we all had a moment. And my best friend looked at me and was like, "Your voice changed." I was like, "Oh, my fault." Sorry, my bad.
Yeah. There was about 50 suns that were flying.
A lot of bees, a lot of dead ass, a lot of facts.
I imagine it. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. It's a cacophony of accent glory. I can't even imagine how awesome that moment must have been. I was in Atlanta the other week, like a couple of weeks ago, and I'm at the bar. I'm talking to somebody, and they were like, she was like, "You from New York?" I'm like, yeah, I am, because I think the bartender, she had family from New York, her boyfriend was from New York, and she was like, "You're always calling me country," and I'm like, "Well, I don't think you're actually from the farm, but anything that doesn't sound like us is country."
Right? No, honestly, it's really bad. Like we got to do a better job of it. But New Yorkers swear that we are the only thing within the United States of America. It's kind of terrible how we treat other states, because if you're not from the tri-state area, we're just like, oh, you're just from the South.
Right.
There's no other regions. It's just the South.
And then shout out to my West Coast folk who deny that they have accents. I remember I put that up on my Instagram, and a bunch of my West Coast people, we do not have accents. Talking proper is not an accent. I'm like, well, have you seen Boys in the Hood? Have you heard Ice Cube lately?
Like, what are you talking about? They definitely do, like, accents. Certain regions, sure, but, like, I think regional accents or dialect it's normal, as long as I can understand what you're saying. Like, it's fine.
Oh yeah, no, it's always clowning, because I need something to fire back when I start talking. They're like,
because you do. I will say, Jeff, you do sound very like stereotypically New York.
I'm a 4 out of 5 in the intensity scale.
I'd give you that. Wait, so if you're a 4 out of 5, what am I?
You're like a 3.
Okay, I'll take that.
You're like a 3.5. Like somebody who, if somebody was really trying to discern where you were from, they could figure it out. Like me, I have to concentrate so that I don't sound like that.
I gotta put all my focus.
Like I have to focus and concentrate so that I don't sound like that, and that I can sound like I'm from anywhere. But when I'm around other people, it will come out just like that. No. So I can flip it on and off. But I would say level 5, you're talking soprano, you're talking NYPD cop that has Irish or Italian roots.
Yeah, but you're talking about like
Staten
standard like immigrant Staten Island, New York.
Right.
I would say a 5 would be like a Cardi B, like somebody.
Oh yeah, she's the other side of the 5. I'm talking
right. She's
about
the other side of the 5, because that's the 5 spectrum, I know.
Yeah, it's like you can't hide it. That's the only way you speak. Like that is you. Like, yo, you know what I'm saying? And you're like, wow.
And you could tell, because like my parents are both from New York, and my dad in particular, when he's upset, like certain words come out. I'm like, what? Like my dad still says cats in 2017.
Yeah. That's very classic. That's classic New York. Man, these cats don't even know what they talking about. Like, what?
Oh yeah, no, that's my father.
Are you talking
my dad is
about
from the South? Like my dad is from the hood of the South Bronx. Like grew up in the project South Bronx,
right.
And so when he's upset and I hear him talk, and I'm like, what? And my dad was definitely like one of those traditional, like it's the 80s. We dress in gazelle. We wear gazelles, and like we wear like certain outfits. Like we wear pantsuits. I got pictures of my dad in like bright all red pantsuits with the leg rolled up with Tim's on and a pair of gazelles.
He went full LL Cool J.
Oh, well, because he used to. Do you remember that clothing line that LL Cool J used to rock a lot? And I
Fubu?
cannot remember. I do not remember it.
Fubu?
No, it wasn't. It was like a
Carl
regional New York line.
Aniche, Carl Kanai.
No,
Cross Colors.
What was the name of it? I cannot
Fat
remember.
Farm.
No, it was not like any of the ones that we all know. It was one that was like regional to New York that he used to go shopping at, that my dad used to wear all the time because he used to work there.
Jimmy Jazz? VIM?
No. Oh my God. I'm so upset. Like I might have to read
the Coliseum?
I got you. I'm about to look this up right now. I'm so sorry.
Dr. J's.
What?
Dr. J's?
No, it wasn't like a store, but it was a clothing brand that he used to wear.
Oh
I'm
man.
gonna go to my dad's.
I just
I'm gonna
went. I,
go
I
do
just
my
went. I
research.
just went through a massive data dump of everything old school New York that I do. I'm trying to think. What else could it have been?
No, I'm about to tell you. Hold on.
Boss.
Jew man.
Wow. 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 I haven't heard that in ages. Ages. Generations. I
just
haven't
took
heard
it
that.
so back.
What? You're gonna have somebody listening from the old school era, like, yo, that was the joint.
That's my father. Like, my dad is not that old. My dad just turned 50 in February, but my dad used to work at Jew Man.
Wow. Bruh. Like, yo, your father is a relic from that era. He is an ancient artifact from that era. Wow. He should put him in bubble wrap
and he will
now.
talk about Jew Man. I'm like, what do you, Dad, I don't understand what you're talking about right now. But I had to do my research, and he explained to me, like, it used to be just a small, like, regional store in New York, particularly the Bronx. And it was, like, you had some rappers wearing it. Like, LL Cool J used to wear it, not often, but, like, it was a small-ass, like, regional store. And so when he talks about it, I'm like, I've never heard of it. It's not like a VIM I know, Jimmy Jazz I know, Dr. J's I know. I grew up on those. Like, I used to live next to a Conway and a Jimmy Jazz. Like, that is, which both of those probably don't, well, Jimmy Jazz still exists, but Conway, I think, has gone bankrupt.
Yeah, I haven't seen Conway in a while, but that was one of those regional department stores that was on one leg to stand anyway. You knew once the marketing tide shifted and how consumers purchase products, that unless it moved with it wasn't happening. But you could tell those people, they were just in it for that time and place, and once it was a wrap, get up and get out.
Well, that's the thing. I grew up right near Bruckner Plaza in the Bronx. So if you've ever been in that area, they had a Conway, like a Jimmy Jazz, a Key Food.
Oh yeah, that was the top 5. If you were in the hood, or any minority community, it was a wrap. You know what I mean? Like you knew what it was. So
right, you have to have a bodega, a 99-cent store, a Key Food, or like a Fine Fare or a C-Town. Like, pick your local grocery store that doesn't have non-GMO and organic
right food. Right.
And then you have like a Conway and a Jimmy Jazz or a Dr. J's or a VIM. Take your pick.
About 15 liquor stores,
Oh, absolutely.
Minimum. So yeah, it's funny we talk about New York and everything going on, because we have a couple of stories. We're going to get into a lot of cool stuff before we hit our main topic, but a couple of stories coming out of New York that are interesting to say the least, especially I think a lot of people would, even non-New Yorkers, would have interested in. First, we could talk about in complete and utter what the fuck news. Ex-NYPD cop is naked man in Florida dead shark hump photo. So this came on my timeline, and I want to fight whoever put this on my timeline and hug them.
I'm not understanding the headline.
A picture was floating around of a NYPD of a naked man who was humping a shark. You ain't see this?
No, I'm gonna guess he's white.
Before you ask, yes, he is. I'm gonna send this to you right now.
Oh my God!
Check it out. Click on that when you have a chance.
Look at it.
And what's funny about this is,
oh my God!
Yes. And what makes this worse is, this is a New York Daily News report. They said he's one of ours, and there was so many people on Twitter that was like, retweet this if he's not one of yours.
You know what's the problem? My man, and now I can't look away. My man looks like a defrosting turkey on Thanksgiving.
Right. He's fully untanned, naked, and get into full hump mode. And this was broken by a reporter in Florida. So people have been speculating on the man's identity in recent days as the astonishing photo went viral online. So it was David Pingalore, the sports anchor from WKMG TV, he was contacted recently by a man who's known as the former finest and provided more photos of the man clothed or not. So
wait,
the
can
dude
we
is
read
in
the tweet
upstate
that
New
you
York.
sent me though? Like, let's read the headline on this. Who is this man? Please retweet, find him, and ask him why he did this. Where is the humor in humiliating slaughtered animals? Yo, I am not a big PETA person, but I also understand, like, hey, you know, killing animals if they don't deserve it and I'm not eating them, kind of wrong. But I feel like that is the least of the problem in this photo. I feel like we're not prioritizing on what the issue is. He's on a boat that's moving because that water is in motion if you look at the picture. So he's on a moving boat. There is blood next to, like, diagonal to his head because that's where the shark is. And the problem mostly is somebody took this photo.
Well, you know, I'll get into that in a second. But the funniest thing about this is this dude. It said the man that is naked on the shark, this is a quote, the man that is naked on the shark is afraid for his life because he believes bounty hunters, I'm not making this up, and people with shark people, whatever those people would be called. He's afraid for his life because this picture is going viral and going out, as if that is the biggest problem with this photo.
This is what I'm saying, Jeff. Like, why are we not prioritizing on the issues at hand?
So there's certain things, and you know, never to make this about race or whatever have you, but we have fun of the show. We talk about entertainment, we talk about everything that's going on and similarities and differences between everybody. This type of stuff, when it comes to the extreme, first of all, when you talk about hunting and all of that, I think it's pretty safe to say it's skewed in terms of who's actually going out there and hunting animals. Fishing is a little different because I feel like everybody fish. If you're from the South, if you're from like that, fishing is fishing. But when it comes to straight hunting, but yeah, it's one of those things. So if for all of my white listeners, if you ever wonder why do people always say that we're the ones that are doing extreme stuff and going hunting, it can't be just us. I want you to show me a picture of this coming out of this being a black man. This is just observation. Like, I wouldn't see this. Like, this is the type of stuff. It's the same thing like when I you know, you go to school, you go to college, and it's funny actually talking about this. Shout out to The Grapevine. It's a great web series where a bunch of people get together and talk about different issues, and they were having a conversation regarding Hoteps and the quote unquote gay agenda, which is a fascinating conversation, seeing both sides of that debate. But they were talking about one issue that came up was how white men in general can be themselves and not be charged with being feminine. So like dudes if you ever heard of like white boy joking, where like they'll smack each other's ass, they'll grab dicks, like it's like shit that they do it where if you do that to me, I'm ready to fight, and not even on some hyper masculinity shit, but it's just I didn't grow up playing like that. Like, but they're very comfortable where they'll do that to you. They'll grab you in the ass like, dude, what the hell? Like, you know, I don't like you. Like, this is what we're doing. Like, you know, like man up, and you feel away because in your soul you're like, I want to fight, but I'm not a bitch either. But in hindsight, especially when liquor's involved and everything, it's funny as hell. But they're the ones that's like normal where they do it and there's no repercussions. So me seeing this picture, I'm not really like, oh my God, I can't believe this is happening. I just have like, what? Were you coerced to take this pic? Were you dared to take this pic?
No, because he's smiling. Like, there's a lot of things. So going back to your conversation about the hypermasculine, I think hypermasculinity is doesn't matter what the ethnicity of the man is, it's a problem. In regards to white men, I've always kind of viewed it in a way of, I think white people in general are not very aware of personal space issues, period. That goes for white women too. So I've always viewed it as such, because I'm, as a black woman, if some other black girl like slapped my ass or like that, I would be like, who are you? I don't know who you are. Like, I don't have that relationship with my girlfriends. We don't do that. Like, that's not our relationship.
Like, you talk about in terms of being comfortable enough, whether I know you or not, to violate your body.
Right. That's my thing. I think Black people in general are very hyper aware of their personal space. And I think it's a case by case scenario, but I would say in general, I think we're very hyper aware of our personal space just because we've had a history of not necessarily having those rights to our bodies, especially like Black women and Black men.
Which is ingrained in us, and it makes a lot of sense.
Right. So I think that they look at how white people interact with Black people, like how they really don't respect personal space. And when it comes to like Black women touching their hair, even Black guys and how they touch their hair, like they're not really conscious of that personal space. So that's how I've always viewed it. But there is a way of they kind of get away with that, oh, it's just experimenting. They'll straighten themselves out, like pun intended. This
is a hell of an experiment for a middle-aged man.
Right.
Humping jaws.
Well, I usually view it on a college sense. Like that's when I think college students in general, I think that's where their pinnacle of like experimentation is. Cause you're kind of away from your parents' thumb. You're trying to find out and learn about yourself. And if you are more fluid with your gender and your sexuality when you're an adult, like, all power to you, like go for it. Stuff like this, though, is just weird as fuck. Like, it has nothing to do. It's nothing to do with sexuality because I guarantee you, there are gay men, both Black and white, who would not do this shit. Like, what are you doing? Like, this makes no sense.
He looks so happy though. Like, he looks so happy. He's like carefree on this shit.
And I know, Jeff, like, this is your show, and you got to be, you're diplomatic. Like, you're very reasonable guy, and I appreciate it. I'll be the bad guy in this scenario. This is some white people shit. Black people do not do this. We do not take pictures with sharks naked, straddled on a dead shark that's bleeding off the side of his head on a moving boat and smiling. And another thing is, I guarantee you the person that took that picture was white as well. Because who the hell took this photo is my question. It's not a selfie. Somebody got on top of the boat to get a good angle to take this picture.
My man said, put it on the gram, yo. Like, and you know what? Here's another thing. Whoever took this picture, whoever had possession of this picture, ain't this man's friend. Because they let this shit leak. They let this shit leak.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, if you don't care about this photo being taken in the first place, I feel like you really don't. I feel like you're faking the funk. Like, if you don't care this type of photo is taken, I have questions. Because that's a problem in the start.
This picture was taken off the shores of Long Island. Yo, I knew there was sharks out here. I knew there was sharks in Long Island, yo.
That's a big-ass shark, too. Let's talk about that. Because that is a huge shark. The fact that that's in Long Island, that's concerning.
Yeah, y'all want to deny climate change and all that stuff. Ain't supposed to be no damn sharks up in northern America, yo. Like northeast United States.
Think of it this way. What if it's more of how we pollute our water, that it was a fish and the pollution from the water Super Saiyan turned it into a shark? Like, it evolved like a Pokemon. Like, with the amount of pollution that's in the Long Island water. Because you know damn well you wouldn't be swimming in that water.
You've been watching too much Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. All right? You talking about the ooze.
But I'm serious. Like, we don't know how the pollution that we put in our water, like, I'm putting, like, my whole low-key joy as a member of the Planeteers hat on. But, like, we don't know, like, how the pollution we put in our water affects the sea creatures that live there.
You're right. For all we know, this could have been a goldfish that turned into a shark.
Right, like that turned into a goddamn shark. Like, it evolved, and we would never know. But I just think it's odd. Like, what if he just brought that shark just to take the picture? We don't have a lot of the data here.
That's even more disturbing. I don't even want to fathom. I can't fathom. Yo, I'm about to buy this shark and hump it, son. What? Yo, I'm about to buy this shark and take a picture of me straddling it. Yo, and I need you to get the best angle possible.
The most disturbing thing is that shark is clearly bleeding. That there is visible blood on the boat. He does not care.
He is walking that line between bestiality and necrophilia that I never thought I would see. And,
it's a weird intersectionality with that. And that's...
Yeah, and I don't think that's something that I ever want to see. ever again. But I tell you and he's a former NYPD cop, and if that news didn't look too swaggy on the NYPD, they really gonna be mad, because this news story from the Post might be the New York Post. This might be the biggest blow to over policing in New York City history. So, a new NYPD directive forbids cops from entering a residence in response to a noise complaint unless they're given permission. So, needless to say, this summer is about to be hot in New York City. All right?
True.
The directive, a copy of which has been obtained by the Post, means loud parties can simply tell the cops who come to their door to just go away. The bizarre constraint is the result of costly, successful lawsuits against the city by homeowners who complain that cops barge onto their properties without a warrant, multiple sources tell the Post. And of course, cops ain't happy. One law enforcement veteran told the Post, "This might be the dumbest thing I ever heard in 20 years. More people will be shot and assaulted," coded language. "Neighbors will lose sleep, and garbage will be strewn all about. This is our new progressive city." So this is the future that they. So basically he's saying black people are gonna run amok, and he's calling us they. Again,
Yes.
we are they. But let me tell you, I'm super surprised as a native New Yorker. I'm surprised that this hasn't happened sooner, because if you've been in New York in the summer is one of the best places in the world to be.
Yes,
and one of the reasons
absolutely.
is because of the organic celebrations that occur, whether it's birthday parties, barbecues, daytime and nighttime barbecues, block parties, all of those things that go down. It's just beautiful, and all the different cultures that make New York City what it is comes together every summer, and we turn up. And the fact that if you've been in New York City in summer, have been to any of these parties, you've seen when cops will come by and they'll walk up in the party, they'll walk right up in your backyard, right up on your stairs, right through your house, like, "Yo, what's going on here?" Literally crash your party and want answers, and are uninvited. And our relationship with the police is such that you want to tell them, "Get the fuck out," but you don't want to get shot. You don't want to get arrested. You don't want the situation to escalate so that we're the next viral video or the next hashtag of a name. So you're always in a catch-22. We know our rights, but we don't want to be put in that position. But now, and you know this word is going to spread like wildfire, that you could just tell them to leave. Yeah. I think that is awesome, because a lot of times they're coming by because other people are calling them. And depending on what your and this is another reason why I'm happy about this. Ever since gentrification has hit New York City,
the amount of 311 calls has increased dramatically.
You can't move into a neighborhood, disrupt the ecosystem which makes the neighborhood and encapsulates it for that community. You can't disrupt that ecosystem because you moved in and you think stuff should change. You can't do that. That is modern colonization. When white people will move into a neighborhood and try to change it for themselves. You move into a highly Caribbean neighborhood and you mad because you hear the pots and pans banging in the summer and it sounds like carnival. Yeah, that's what everybody knows what it is. This is a nightly event. This is summer. This is how we celebrate. If you don't like it, go move to the rich part of New York and pay those prices that you trying to avoid. Don't try to change it. And they're the ones who will call the cops and try to shut down parties. And we all should probably be more involved in city council and stuff like that and neighborhood stuff where they'll go and they'll try to change it from politically so that it facilitates and makes it more conducive to them getting us out of here. And that's just one part of gentrification that I absolutely abhor when it comes to the changing New York City. So that's another reason why I'm very happy that this ordinance in this has been put in place. What do you think?
I would say so there's a lot of things. One, I am a firm believer, and I've been saying this, like, I don't believe that cuffing season is in the winter. I think if you live in New York, cuffing season is in the summer because no, I'm serious because you can do so many free, fun, cute dates in the summertime in New York in multiple different boroughs if you want to do that. Like it's like it'll be A Marie, why don't we fall in love weather? Like you'll be real cute. It's crop top weather. Like it's like manicure and pedicure weather. Like it's so fun and so cute and so free that everybody's outside, everybody's enjoying themselves, playing in the park, having a good time. It's great community building exercise. But when the sun comes out for black folk and we come out, that means white folk be popping up. Because I never see the white folk in my area like during work hours until the summertime. Then they are all sitting outside at our brunch spots. Then they're always like walking their dog and like taking their kids on a stroll and whatnot. That's when you really see them out. So to your point, the amount of like 311 calls increased dramatically because let's be honest, apartments here, they have thin ass walls.
Right.
They're not very built. They're not very they're not well built for sound, especially the sound that we do. Like I got not roommates, but I have neighbors upstairs, and both of them are musicians, and they be DJing late at night. It don't bother me because I'm sleeping and it's on the other side of the house of the apartment, but they be jamming. Imagine if I was a white neighbor, it would be a hell for me. So the amount of 311 calls increased dramatically. And then from there, you'll have more police coming in. And it's tricky in terms of that type of like legal jargon because most people live in apartments. You don't technically own that apartment. You rent that apartment, but you don't own it.
Right.
So it's not like a front lawn where you own a mortgage and that's your actual property. It's really tricky when you own an apartment and you really just own within those four corners, but they can roll up to the front of your building or roll up to the front of your door because you don't own the hallways. You just own that apartment. But the fact that they've had this rule, that is a big deal. For the cop who made that comment, he's clearly big mad, and he can still stay big mad because the coded language, to your point, is very dog whistly. Like, we know what you're talking about, bruh. Like, it's very clear that you're saying that. First of all, garbage being thrown around, what does it have to do with you knocking on the door? Are you telling them to clean up their litter when you knock on their door? Like, that makes no sense.
He's making a false equivalence to the amount of garbage in the city and the parties that are going on, as if those private houses won't get fined if they're if outside of their house looks shitty.
Like let's those be honest, New York is dirty as fuck. Like we all know this. We live here. It's dirty.
But do believe
party's not going to change it much.
Do believe in the boroughs? Well, in Brooklyn, definitely Queens. Those garbage cops are like the feds. They come around in their white and orange cars, and they will give out them tickets if the front of your house is dirty. So let's not act like there isn't going to be any consequences for that anyway. And just to go a little bit deeper into this story, one other law enforcement source said, I guess they're sick and tired of getting sued so often. People were going to jail. Sound systems were being broken or confiscated, and then the judges throw the cases out. I think they've had enough lawsuits. They said they confiscated so much sound equipment last year that the NYPD warehouse looked like PC Richards.
Gee, oh my God.
That's crazy because I even forgot about the confiscating of sound equipment, which you think about it, hell yeah, that's against what they can do. You're going to come into my property and take my stereo system because I'm making noise. That's theft. Low key, that's theft. And you don't have a warrant to confiscate it? Hell yeah, I would have sued the crap out of New York City. The directive says that they can no longer go inside a home without consent solely for the purpose of abating noise conditions by enforcement actions and or seizure of the device. So that directive has to come from a precinct commander or on-duty captain and only as a last resort after request to stop the noise has been ignored. So there's a little wrinkle to that. So if they come and I could tell them, no, you're not coming in, go away. If they continuously get noise complaints the whole night and it's not stopping, then they can go in there as a last resort. But judging by what they're saying about these lawsuits and stuff that they're getting, you would have to be doing some Project X shit for them to come shut you down. Like that's what I'm reading into this. That it has to be a major party for them to stop this, because I wouldn't want that smoke.
So we're both from New York, and we know with the NYPD like the amount of police brutality that we have here. So you always notice how like there's traditional police brutality. So you have like obviously people getting killed unnecessarily and they're unarmed. You have people getting arrested without a warrant. This is just another kind of extension of that, of taking people's fucking property without any type of merit or warrant to do so. So to me, I always find it wild that NYPD would rather be assholes and just have a separate amount of funding that we pay for as New York taxpayers, like for them to dole out those lawsuits in order to cover their asses and do settlements, than just do the right thing.
I don't understand how they confiscated equipment. Like, that's the one that still boggles my mind, that, they were really out here taking... imagine if you were a DJ and they came, and I've never seen that. That's the one thing I will say for the NYPD. I've never seen them confiscate sound equipment. Because imagine if you're a DJ and they come and they take all your stuff, your speakers, your sound system. They're probably out here. If you're smart, you pack up your laptop and just disconnect it so that they can't take it. But they're taking everything, your soundboard, all of that. And it's not cheap. The shit ain't cheap, and you don't get it back. You don't get, man. I'm surprised they even get that far, because some of the parties I've been to, that would have been another national news story, because them DJs ain't giving up their stuff for nobody.
Well, that's the thing. Like, it's a small percentage of them, but like these are some people's livelihoods, like what they do for a living. You know how many like black DJs are in New York? There is a legitimate population of them,
1 million, and
that's how they get paid.
Right. And there's enough money out here for everybody to eat. So if you stopping them from eating, what you think is going to happen?
They can't pay their rent, because it's going to take them a long time. The example I give is, if you've ever watched Law and Order SVU, which I feel like everybody has watched at least an episode
at some point.
Yeah. Like, have you ever seen like how they always be kicking the door open sometimes?
Oh yeah, you gotta pay for that to get fixed.
Yeah, but that's the thing. They're supposed to. If you're not like the guilty recipient, they're supposed to reimburse you. But imagine how much paperwork has to go through and how long it takes for you to get that reimbursement.
Yeah. Trust me, for anybody who's busted a tire on a pothole in New York, or even if you've won a settlement versus New York and you've been waiting for that money, they elongate that process as long and stretch it out as long as they possibly can. So I have no doubt in my mind that you'll be waiting at least a year to get money back for fixing a door and getting a locksmith to change your lock.
Right. And then what's the worst part of it all is, there's no apology. There's never an apology attached to that. Like, yo, we fucked up, my bad. Like, people genuinely have issues with apologizing when they're wrong, especially cops, because I think there's a certain amount of, they know they get a lot of heat. Like, my dad is from New York. My granddad was from New York. I think, like, fuck the NYPD is a generational mantra that has been passed down from New Yorkers to New Yorkers of no matter what generation. So we have, validly developed this distrust even from, so they know they're going, they're fighting an uphill battle. And so, of course, I'm not gonna apologize, because they feel like, I don't understand why the city doesn't respect me. It's like, well, you don't respect the city and the community.
Yeah, it's a cyclical process that's institutional and needs to be solved. But shout out to the cops that be on patrol on the weekends, and they're just looking to chill, and they come to stop by the parties just to bag chicks and survey the scenery. I've always seen that, where they'll be waiting outside, and you think it's like, oh, they're coming to do XYZ, but they're literally just there. They're there to make sure stuff ain't gonna go down, but it's whack. They having a slow night, and they heard a party going on. So like, yo, let's just go out there. If we gotta do something, we gotta do something. But yo, there's gonna be girls there. There's gonna be this. There's gonna be that.
That's what I'm saying. There are some cops that like, it's funny at the moment, but you be thinking about it like, that is definitely a gross misuse of your power. But like, they be all in Carnival. They be all in Puerto Rican Day Parade.
Well, I don't think it's so much a misuse. If you think about it like this, it's just like if you've ever worked late night, if you work or you're working in a job where you're basically on call until something happens, or you got to be somewhere, you're going to make the most of it. I wouldn't want them to drop their guard too much just in case some real stuff goes down and you got to do what you do. But yeah, they be in there, they be partying, not so much partying, but you could tell, but that's also goes back to having people either from the neighborhood or who know the neighborhood patrol the neighborhood. So if you know the neighborhood and you know people in the neighborhood and you're a cop in the neighborhood, you know what's real and what's not. So you could be out there and know that, okay, the presence alone is there. We just got to make sure people don't loiter. So we'll say, all right, everybody get to your cars, get to, have a good night, blah, 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 blah. And you usher people out. Because you do need that. I will keep it 100. Because black people will wait until the sunrise to be talking about what happened in the party for 5 hours and shut the party down and be outside and chill. What? Nah, y'all got to go. Like, all right, let's go home. Let's go. Or go get some food, y'all. Like, you can't be in front of people's houses. So you do need people to usher that along. But yeah, shout out to them. But it's going to be a long, you can tell cops to keep it moving. Yeah, I can't wait. This is going to be a funny ass summer.
Summer, I can't wait because the weather here has been awful. I can't wait till it actually breaks. Like, I have crop tops, like, just waiting to be worn. I am ready. Top? Oh, no, I am ready. Like, I am prepared for the summer.
And shout out to anybody who doesn't think climate change is actually a thing, where we go from 80 to 50 degrees in one day, and it's May freaking 14th, and we have weather like it's March. Whatever though.
The rain also was awful all Saturday too.
Oh, it was
like I think people don't really realize why is it in the 50s/60s in mid-May. The weather should be breaking. It shouldn't be like super hot, but I think I'm hoping that this summer is not cold, but I think it's going to be colder than the summers of years past.
Yeah, I remember that one summer we had where it was like 70s, 80s the whole summer, and I was shook because I'm looking around like, nah, it's not supposed to be like this. It's supposed to be sweltering hot. August is supposed to be unbearable. I'm not asking for it, but yeah. So trust me when I say I'm ready for this weather to officially break and stay broken, and stay in the 70s and 80s, and it'd be nice and warm and cool, and we could put these coats away, and we could actually enjoy ourselves. I'm waiting for that.
I look forward to your final transformation as a Haitian uncle.
Oh my God, here we go. What's wrong with you? All right, guys, that's it for our time. I want to thank Joy for coming. Once I cop the sandals, it'll be complete.
Oh my God, the sandal!
The Air Jesus 3s.
Oh my God, that is so funny. But that's just like, that is what I imagine Jeff to be in the summer, like a true Haitian uncle. Like,
nah, I don't go full Haitian like that. I'll have the floral patterns. I'll have the colored pants. The pastels will be on fleek, but I don't go full. I don't, not yet. I got about 10, 15, 20 more years until I go full. Pass me the beer, okay? I'm very tired. I don't want to get up. Pass me the beer, okay?
Oh my God. Pastels and the flowers are actually killing me because I'm not Haitian. I'm like half Caribbean, but I definitely bought pastel pants. Like, something was calling me to it.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I bought like,
you can't deny your nature. You can't deny the pastels call you.
I bought like lavender pants. I was like, why did I? And they came in the mail, and I was like, why did I buy these? But something was calling my spirit for them pants.
I'm telling you, it's just like when winter and fall comes, it's where's the cremas? You know what I'm saying? Like it's just like I wake up one day and I'm like cremas. That's just how it is. You can't deny your nature. You can't deny your nature. Speaking of denying your nature,
excellent segue.
Bow Wow, Shad Moss and this BowWowChallenge. First of all, shout out to my guy Tahir, who actually broke this news. And I saw he was the one who sent and this is someone I know in real life, cool. Is my guy. He broke this news in real life to the point where I saw him tweet it and I thought he got it from somewhere else. Then when I saw it get picked up everywhere and they were crediting him, I was like, wait, you were on the plane that he fronted? For those of you who don't know, Bow Wow's put a pickup on Instagram that looked like he was getting on a private jet to ironically come out here for Growing Up Hip Hop, ATL's press run. And this dude was actually on the plane, a commercial flight that Bow Wow was on, and took a picture of him saying, why is this dude Bow Wow fronting like he's getting on a private jet? He's in the back of the plane like me. And this sparked the BowWowChallenge across social media where, and I say it every time these things come up, there are some of the most creative people on social media ever.
Absolutely.
Where you see the BowWowChallenge. Like there was one dude who looked like he was in a soccer match, and it was him. His boys took a picture of him in front of a screen and changed, and you see the BowWowChallenge is basically you take a picture fronting and then you show how you set it up. Like somebody put two of their fingers and put it by a scene at the beach, and it made it look like they were taking a picture of their legs. Like it was some of the most. If you look at the BowWowChallenge hashtag, it's some of the most intricate, creative ways to front on social media possible. Are you surprised? Like, what's the worst fronting, if any, you've ever done on social media, Joy?
I don't think I've like genuinely. I'm not even like talking about fronting, but like I don't really do that. Like I don't do specifically on Twitter. I really just like tweet my real life things, but on Instagram I don't post often, and when I do, it's like me being at places genuinely. Like I have, like you're supposed to post pictures of where you're actually going, I would hope. But I like something about Bow Wow in particular, going back to him, is this is not the first time he's done that. Somebody brought up when he said he was that he declined one of like to be in the box seats for Falcons game, instead watching them play at home. Mm-hmm. And then somebody looked at the date of when he posted that, and they were on an off week.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
I was just like, oh no. And I didn't see that before until the BowWowChallenge came up. But yeah, no, like you follow me on Instagram. I go out of the country. So when I'm actually out of the country, I'm actually out of the country. And I like to go travel like to other, different countries. But I've never had to kind of fake that funk because honestly, I'm not a celebrity. I'll never probably be on a private jet ever in my life. Like the way it's set up.
Don't sell yourself short.
I'm
you never
okay
know.
With like, there's nothing wrong with if you're washed. There's nothing wrong with being washed.
Washed is a way of life. It is an art form. It is a mantra that you should carry. You should be washed, because if you're washed, you're successful.
Like I'm proud of my washness. Like I know I'm washed. Like yes, I go travel to other countries. I enjoy my job. Like I get paid well. I'm able to live comfortably in the city enough. But realistically, majority of the time, I'm just home. Like on the weekends, I don't do nothing. I don't date like that. Like I just kind of like mind my black ass business. Yesterday, I literally just sat in my bed all day. Went outside because I ran out of toilet tissue, so I went to CVS, came back, I grabbed drinks with my friends in the evening, and read comic books and went to bed. That's it. That's okay.
That comment was full of nail emojis, by the way. There was nothing like, yeah, I go out, I get paid well, I go travel, you know what I'm saying? But I'm washed. Fuck it.
No, but it's like, no, I'm not even trying to be like, I'm not even trying to like stunt. It's genuinely, that's my life. Like I recognize the privilege and the fortune that I've had at such a young age, because I'm only in my mid-20s. And so the fact that I can, I'm able to live in the city. I live by myself. I didn't have student loans because I had a scholarship in college, and like be able to do some of this fun stuff. Like I'm super, super fortunate and blessed to live that life. But like anybody else, like as a black person, I take L's. So my dating life has taken an L. My social life has taken an L. Like sometimes you take L's, and that's okay. For Bow Wow to be doing okay, like Bow Wow's not broke. So he doesn't need to stunt. If he's not on a private jet, he's not on a private jet, and that's okay. But I've never understood the inclination and desire to lie about how well you're doing on social media. I just feel like that's so lame.
What's funny about that? Oh, I saw an interview with him on Sway in the Morning where he said there's a method to his badness, and I'm like,
yo, and he did the thinking the thinking meme.
Yeah.
Oh,
He's
so
like,
funny.
there's a method to his bad. I'm like, come on, man. You got caught fronting. The method is for you not to get caught fronting. But it's funny. I saw a few people post it. Shout out to my friend Tamika DJ. I was about to call her by her old DJ name, Olivia Dope. She had put something on social media. What I saw, it was probably on IG Stories or Snap or one of those, where she was saying people shouldn't be that quick to judge Bow Wow because we all front in certain ways on social media. How you make it look like everything's going well, but everything may not be going well in your life.
Absolutely.
So there's a certain amount of front, and to talk about that is true, and it's true to an extent where, and people have talked about this in different respects, but when you look at social media, especially IG is not a place of despair. If you think about it, it's
Absolutely.
not a place of despair. It's not a place of doom and gloom. You see the best of people. You see pictures. You see, other than a memorial type post, you'll see everybody in their best light. Twitter to me is more of a natural interaction because it's more of a conversation. So you may hear people lament to their life and talk about the ups and downs a little bit more. But something like Snapchat, where you see people at parties and they're snapping themselves, Instagram with all the selfies, you get to see people at their best, but they don't really post when they're going through. So it does prove to build a facade of my life is a utopia, when we all know everybody has stuff that's going through in their life. That's why one of the things that I had posted once, I started learning how to really jump rope for real. And I put up a video of me on IG, and I was messing up, but I left it because you know what? Part of a journey for me is showing, because you want to show the progress. So I'm not going to show you when I'm doing all these off the hook things. Like if I post one now, I've gotten better. So you can see the progression from months ago to now, right? But for me, it was important to show me losing, show me whipping myself with you ever whip yourself with a jump rope, man?
Yes, I have.
Woo, and especially for men, we have extra parts that don't need to be whipped. And it's happened to me a few times where it's like I'm getting hit in the crotch and all of that. And I take that time to pause like, Jeff, if you don't get out of here with this damn masochistic pain that you're going through right now that you're inflicting in yourself. But I will say that in a general high level sense, yeah, we probably all, whether directly or indirectly, front on social media, because if you're not showing the holistic aspect of your life, private or not, then there is a certain level of, I don't want to call it say people are disingenuous or not or ingenuine when it comes to what they post, but you don't get the full sense of when people are having a crappy day. Sometimes people post it, but a lot of times you see.
At the same token, there's a difference between posting yourself in your best light and straight up lying, which I think that's the problem. Like, I 150% agree with you and your friend where it's like, okay, hey, if I'm going to be on IG, I'm going to make sure I don't look tired or I don't have the same outfit I had on the day before and I'm posting a new picture.
Yo, Facebook used to kill
like
outfits.
If I'm going out of the country, I'm going to make sure y'all going to get these cute pictures of me out the country being cute, like living my best life, living my life as if I am in a More of Life music video. Like, I get it. Like, I understand, but I'm not lying about it. That's like me screenshotting a picture of me like in Italy behind an Italy backdrop, but I'm still in the States. There's a difference between posting yourself in your best light and straight up lying. That man was not on that plane, and that's the black ass bottom line. That's where it's just like, where do you toe the line? Like, where in Bow Wow's kind of psyche did he feel like he has to keep up with the Joneses in that regard? Like, I don't know if he's very like aware of who is or isn't checking for him, and that's not even being shady. It's just the truth. Like, in terms of people who care about your personal life, how many of them are out there that you have to feel like you're lying? I feel like there's not that many where he could have been okay. And if he would have just been like, yo, like, it could have been a picture of him in the hotel, like a selfie, being like, yo, we about to head over to hip hop, like Grown Up Hip Hop season 2 press tour. Let's go. And that would have been okay, because he's not lying that's what he is doing. He is doing a press tour. But now every time he's going to go on an interview from now on for the rest of his press tour, we're going to ask him, like, so about that picture, what happened?
You remember when he was in front of those kids and he was acting like they didn't know who he was? And he's like, "Oh my God, I'm in front of them. They don't know who I am." And
right, like,
they
this
had
is
no
not
care
the
in the
first
world.
time. Like, he's a repeat offender. That's the
He's
that's
a serial. He's a serial fronter.
He's a serial fronter in a way where it's like, it's not necessary. Like, if you are walking down the street and people don't recognize you, That's okay.
You better enjoy that anonymity, because man,
Beyonce can't do that.
Right.
Jay-Z can't do that.
Right.
You're not nowhere near those levels. So it's okay if you walk down the street and nobody knows you. It's all right being a normal washed human being where you take a L a couple of times. Like, we all do it, and some of us share it. Like, I'm on a podcast being like, yo, my social life and my dating life is trash. That's the truth. Like, it's the truth. And I'm okay with that, because I know me as a person. Like, I know there are some great highs, but there's sometimes some great lows where dating is sucky and love, I feel like, is a Ponzi scheme. But like, that's how I feel. So, like, the fact that he felt that he needs to do this extra, quite frankly, just lying, is unnecessary.
Couple of things. One, I don't think you've ever lived if your love life hasn't been trash at one point. I don't think you've lived life.
You know what it is? Like, you've dated in this city, so you know that there is, but your experiences with is as a man. As a woman, particularly a black woman dating in this city, this is trash. And I'm a black millennial, which, if you've never met black male millennials, there's a certain air of superiority sometimes that they feel, where I'm dealing with these guys who, or having conversation with them, whether they just be acquaintances or I just meet them, where they feel as though because they have a degree, I'm automatically supposed to be into them. And I'm like, but I have the same degree as you, so I don't care. Your personality's like cardboard.
But they got the degree, so that's different.
And that's what I'm like, most likely I'll probably be making more money than you in like 5 to 10 years.
Get him.
Like,
I hear you.
By that. Like, genuinely, I'm not impressed by that. For me, it's like, you can, just because you have a degree, that's great, that's important, do not get me wrong, but you do have to you have to be a complex and kind and thoughtful human being. Like, you should work on your personality too and grow as a human. But some people, like, just kind of like, they use their money and their education as a crutch, and that is some of the small black millennial circle I have found in some of them, not all of them, but some of them, where I'm just like, that's really, I feel bad for you, where you have to rely on your material possessions in order for you to get dates. I'm like, damn, that sucks.
I almost feel like that's a generational issue as opposed to just a millennial issue. Because I could tell you, I'm on the outskirts of millennial life. Like, I'm a cusp baby when it comes to millennials, and even then,
right? Which I'm just speaking on my experience.
No, of course,
those are the people I interact with. But I agree with you.
Word. But I'll just tell you, man, I once wrote an article that's back in my relationship article days, where I said ugly dudes stay winning. And if I tell you that millennial, we could have some talks about how them possessions and confidence would up your game, because a lot of times it's not what you do, it's how you interact, and we could get into a whole topic of how human interaction and the millennial generation are diverging, but it hurts in dating, it hurts in workforce, it hurts in a lot of different places. But
right, and like you work at BR, right? And so you work in, like, where the circle, people who know people or you know them directly. I kind of work in that similar arena. And so there are people that I interact with often, some people I interact with once in a blue moon, but you stay in that general circle of people that you meet, and you see people's personality changes the more kind of like levels up they have in their career,
Right.
levels up they got in a tax bracket. You've known them when they were just like a shoddy freelance writer, for example, right? And then now they're actually on staff, making some good money, making the next level up, and you've probably seen it where people change. I've seen that too, not necessarily in the writer's space, but of people who I knew them when they were fresh out of college, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, and then a couple of promotions later, and going off to B school and coming back, and you're just like, who are you? Who are you really? I don't know you anymore.
She dropped that B school. That's a whole other show, boy. We could open up that can of worms, right? But
But it's true, and it's true. Like maybe it's just me. Like I'm not saying that you should be the same person because that's not realistic. Like I think with our experiences, we age and we grow, and things about us change. But I can say with confidence what I would want my legacy to be as like Joy the friend to other people is that I've known Joy since we were sophomores in college. That is the same Joy. She's older, a little bit more hardened, a little bit more knowledgeable, and has a little bit more wisdom, but at the core that's still Joy. When I feel like your core is changing, that's really disappointing.
It's true. It's true. It shout out to Facebook also for ruining outfits for people.
Oh my God!
I still remember when you took pictures and people put them up on Facebook, and you were just like, "Damn, I can't even wear that shit no more."
But not even that. Facebook. The only reason why I keep Facebook is because it keeps me humble. Because I was washed in like prime Facebook time, like prime Facebook days. The look was terrible. The weave was terrible. My face just was ashy. I had no edges. Like, it was rough.
Yo, she said she had no edges in your face. That sounds like a hard knock life, boy.
Dog, I look at pictures of me. I'm like, what happened?
Look, I was one of those people. I'm going to keep it real. I would be like, yo, I would post a picture on Facebook and say, and you will see this. You know how like at the end of Marvel movies it says like Guardians of the Galaxy will return? I would say this outfit will return. I didn't give a fuck, yo. You gonna see this.
But
you gonna get this shirt.
You seeing pictures of you like this is like I don't know you in your past life, but like like you're not in the like you're in the gym more probably. Like you got your facial hair starting to go in.
Oh yeah. Trust me, I was in the baggy clothes era, so all my clothes didn't fit. I've cycled in weight. Like I was never really super big, but like I had a time where I was lifting a lot and I was a little more stockier. I've been slimmer. I've kind of evened out now. I have like generations of shit. So trust me when I say Facebook is something that's kept me humble. And speaking of being humbled, Betsy DeVos at Bethune Cookman College gets booed out of the arena during her commencement ceremony. So it's just few things on this. First off, shout out to those students exercising their right to protest. Welcome to the real world where now everything is fucked up. First off, good luck getting your future employment and all of that. And that's real talk. Secondly, who in their cotton picking mind would book Betsy DeVos to speak at a HBCU? I don't know. I thought that picture that all the HBCU presidents took with Trump, I was like, I don't know about this. But this is just like, I don't know if they got forced. I don't know if they were coerced or pressured into it. But dude, I was absolutely speechless. When I heard she was going to give the speech, I was like, well, that's not going to go well, right? And shout out to those two black women who set off the turning the backs on Betsy DeVos and booing while she was talking. Like that joint was it was too lit. And that administrator who got up and said, your degrees will be mailed to you if you don't stop acting the way you're acting, that had to be the most idiotic thing ever said at a commencement ceremony. When I don't know about you, but I don't remember having my actual degree. They didn't give me my actual degree.
No, they mailed my degree.
They mailed your joint anyway. Once you paid your money and got those credits, yeah, mail me my shit. I'm gonna turn up. If anybody's been to a high school graduation, there people was on them stages performing, like cartwheels, cursing in the mic, dancing. But they, you know what? They passed everything. And if they call the school, yup, you gonna get your degree, because there's no reason why you can hold their degree, especially when you pay your money. So that was that. And to for him not to expect those students to boost somebody who is the antithesis of what they're about, I just think that's pretty clueless. What did you think when you saw that video?
Yeah, so there's a lot of things. One, the fact that they gave her an honorary doctorate degree and they don't have a doctorate program.
Yo.
When I heard about that, I was like, wait a minute. How are you giving her a honorary doctorate degree and she don't got there's no doctorate program at Bethune Cookman?
That's a step above Tommy not having a job. You ain't got no degree. You don't even got a program for the degree, so you definitely ain't got no degree.
There's a lot of different things. Like, to your point, yo, I genuinely feel bad for the students. They don't deserve what's supposed to be a time of celebration, because I don't care what school you go to. College is hard as fuck, okay? You're going through a lot of mental and physical and emotional and spiritual turmoil. I don't care what school you went to. There was a time where you were like, I'm going to tap out of life right now. That is just the experience, because it's 4 years of growing pains, whether it be academically, finding out who you are and what yourself is, preparing for the real world, trying to get a job, trying to get an internship, trying to get a fellowship, trying to get funding, whatever. Like, it is hard. To graduate is something to celebrate, especially being a Black graduate. There is not that many of us out there. I know, because you and me live in the city and there's a lot of us around. It's still a small ass circle. To be Black and graduate from whatever college you go to is a blessing, and you should take pride in that. For that to be your moment of celebration being hijacked for some political bullshit for a woman who bought her seat at the table is crap. And the fact that this white woman is getting this doctorate degree from a school that doesn't even have a doctorate program, and you have the Black staff trying to like clap for her and trying to protect this innocent quote unquote white woman, is a slap in the face. And I would not be pleased. When I graduate, y'all not getting a dime of my alumni money. Don't dare try to call me. I'm blocking you forever. I'm reporting your ass to spam. Like, I would be pissed. Absolutely pissed. The fact that they showed up in the first place is like a blessing in itself, because I would probably not go. I honestly, genuinely would not go. Let's be honest, the commencement ceremony, it'd be early as fuck in the morning. You'd be falling asleep. Like, my commencement speaker was Joe Biden. I slept through his whole speech. Like, I was slumped. Do you hear me? Out there in my graduation gown, and somebody memed it and wrote "Stay woke." One of my friends did that.
Are you serious?
That really happened. I was knocked the fuck out. And so, like, it's early in the morning. It was cold as hell for my graduation ceremony. We're outside. I had leggings under my dress because it was that cold outside. I had like padding under my gown because it was so cold. And you don't even want to be there, but you're there because your mama and daddy are there. So you're just trying to do it for them so they can take pictures and whatnot, but you really don't want to be there. So the fact that they're even there in the first place, God bless them. I appreciate that they protested. I appreciate it when their whack ass president was like, your degrees will just get mailed, like they're not gonna get mailed anyway, and they just started yelling and booing louder. I appreciate when Betsy DeVos was like, yo, I'm gonna go visit Mary McLeod Bethune's grave. They booed even louder, like, oh hell no. Why are you going to visit her grave? For what? Why? She just needs to deliver you a ghost fade on site if you go to her grave. Like,
yo, they weren't having it. They weren't having it at all.
Do you blame them? Like, do you blame them? I don't know. And keep in mind, my experience is being colored from, I went to a PWI. I went to an Ivy League school. Like, my experiences are starkly different. So I don't know what that extra level of offense of that, how that feels when you are at an HBCU. And the speaker who is going to be at your HBCU is a part of an administration who essentially said that HBCU funding is technically not constitutional because it's discriminatory a week ago before your graduation. I don't know that level of anger, because I don't live that experience, so I'm not going to pretend like I do. But I feel for them. That is some bullshit. That is absolute bullshit.
Yeah, it's you expect these kids to be docile and reverent towards someone who made her fortune off of loans for kids, and now she's heading up the never worked in public sector, never worked on public schools, but then is the Secretary of Education.
She's the woman who said that HBCUs were a prime example of school choice, as if HBCUs didn't start
we had a
because
choice.
there was no choice.
Right. And it's like privilege on HGH when it comes to her and her views on education. It's just for me, being in that stand where you know, if you've been to one graduation, you've been to them all.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert. You've been to them all. And you're sitting there and you're with your friends and it's a celebratory thing. And I have to listen to somebody who in her existence is condescending to everything that my ancestors went through and my entire educational journey. And to be a part of the administration, which isn't popular to say the least, and an administration who has shown bigotry towards the minority community, xenophobia, misogyny, and you want somebody to be a part of that. You want people to just be laudatory towards Betsy DeVos because of that, as if, especially at a HBCU, when people are resisting and protesting and you know why they are, to shut them down. Did you forget your mission? Did you forget the mission of the schools? Did you forget who you were? That's why I say all skin folk ain't kinfolk, man. All skin folk ain't kinfolk, especially when it comes to stuff like that.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, they absolutely exploited those kids. They did not consent. If we're keeping it a buck, they did not consent to her. And they absolutely exploited their day to shine. It should be a moment about those students and those graduates, and they exploited it just so they can get a leg up for their funding. And that's some bullshit, and they should be ashamed of themselves. And if they think that their school is going to get funding from those graduates, they are sorely mistaken. They're now putting their alumni money in like alumni bucket of money in jeopardy. Genuinely.
Well, if you want to talk about somebody who should be ashamed of themselves, let's talk about the main event today. So, it looks like Miley Cyrus has completed her pilgrimage in Black community.
Why did you say her pilgrimage like she's Malcolm X going through Mecca?
Dude, that's what it is. It's almost like a rite of passage for them. So she has a new album coming out. She's completely shifted the sound of her music to more from like that mix of rap and R&B to straight pop rock. And, you know, she wants to do that, fine. But it was her comments that really pissed me off when she was talking about how she views rap music now, right? She says, I also love that new Kendrick song, Humble. Show me something natural like ass with some stretch marks. I love that because it's not come sit on my dick, suck on my cock. I can't listen to that anymore. That's what pushed me out of hip-hop scene a little. It was too much Lamborghini, got my Rolex, got a girl on my cock. I'm so not that. Mind you, this is the same woman who rapped on a hook with Juicy J talking about Air Jordans. It's the same woman who got braids. Because you know when white women get braids, it's avant-garde. But when Black women get braids, it's ghetto, right? This is the thing, and when you don't got her, you have YesJulz, who is a social media manager and personality, aka the director of Vibes, who recently jumped out the window on social media by posting a picture with, I forgot what the shirt said, something about like
it's a niggas lie a lot.
Niggas lie a lot. She was like, "Yo, can
That's
I wear?"
True.
Well, I mean, that's a different show, okay? But she posts it and she goes, "Is this something I could wear?" Now, to be fair, she identifies as, well, her heritage is Puerto Rican and Italian, but 9 times out of 10, if you ask people, it's not like I'm from New York, and you know, if you told me she was Puerto Rican, I would have told you need more people. And
right,
she doesn't really.
Let's be honest here. There is
like
certain
that.
type of. She definitely benefits and low key, jumps in and out of those spaces depending on what she needs to get accomplished.
Right.
But she definitely benefits from white passing. Like, let's be honest
Exactly. And she, people rightfully got her out of the paint. And I will be fair again. It was a combination of people who didn't like it and people who've been waiting to get her out of the paint. I'll be fair on that. But she came back and she was very contrite. Came back on social media. She started losing sponsorships for events she was doing. And she came back on social media very sorry, like, something stupid, I apologize. But then came back again a week later, defiant, saying that she's been in these black spaces and she ain't going to let trolls on social media get her out. How are you rooting yourself in black culture, chaining yourself to the fence of the diaspora and saying, hell no, we won't go? And this is the overall problem that I have. And give me 1 second while I pull it up, and I want to give proper credit. Shout out to Richie_Colazzo on Twitter, where they went through a whole thread on Twitter about how white people co-opt black culture in order to come off as edgy and grown, so that they can go through that phase, so that they eventually, when they leave, it's almost like the caterpillar turning into a butterfly. And this is and the points that were made were very, very accurate, and I agree with. This is some of the issues that I have personally with it. I understand now why so many black people are resistant when the Miley Cyruses and Justin Timberlakes and Justin Biebers of the world all of a sudden are with all the rappers, are on the hooks, and their sound changes to sound more like rap and R&B. And people are resistant about allowing them into the culture and supporting them in the spaces. Because all these people like Miley Cyrus, people like YesJulz, they wear our culture like cosplay. It's black culture cosplay that they can play as one of us and benefit from that, because as a culture, we are accepting. We think it's cool when it's like, oh, you get us, you understand, you really fuck with us like that, and you are contributing to the culture and supporting the culture, and you're actually uplifting the culture so that it can enhance it. But all you do is show that this is like your rebellious phase. And what's more rebellious than being black? What's more rebellious than being a part of this culture? It's almost like when back in the slave days, when white women would sleep with the black slave, it was fetishizing the black experience. And that showed that you were edgy and you were on point. The same way as I said before, all the things that we wear, all the things, the aspects of black women that people shun, the majority shun when they're on black women. White women want bigger asses. White women want bigger lips. White women want colorful nails. White women want braids. Now all of a sudden it's the hot new trend, as if it's hasn't been prevalent in our communities for years. And it just really pisses me off that these people benefit from our culture and then can shed it whenever they want to be accepted back into their communities and still make money and still ascend in their various careers. And it doesn't surprise me one bit, because I'm one of the people who I always thought it was cool when those pop stars came into our culture, and you on a hook here and there, it's cool. Then you change your sound. It's like, okay, you try. I'm always thinking you're expanding yourself, but for Miley Cyrus to denounce rap music as if she wasn't as raunchy or even more raunchy than the culture she tried to co-opt. And now it's all of a sudden you're above that. Miley fucking Ray Cyrus, you're above us now because you want to be accepted by the community again. Like, fuck out of here. Who the fuck do you think you are? That's what I see with that, and with the whole YesJulz thing. It's just, yo, you either need to decide whether you're a part of the culture and you're not. And if you are a part of the culture and you know how you are seen and how you are identified, yo, I'm not gonna shit on the philanthropy and all the stuff that you did, but it doesn't change the fact that you utilize the culture when it best benefits you. And when it doesn't, and when people have backlash, you condescend as if you are an expert and you have a right to be there. Unless you are the culture, you don't have a right to be in the culture. It's a privilege. And that's how I feel.
150% agree with you.
What do you think? Am I bugging? Am I wilding out?
No, like, here's the thing, which upsets me the most about that situation is that are we gonna talk about the video of her saying "What's up, little niggas"? Are we gonna talk about that?
Oh, I totally blacked out. I was so bad, I totally blacked out about that. Whoever did the mashup, shout out to whoever on Twitter did that mashup of her apologizing and then with the "What's up, little niggas" mashup, bruh.
Yeah, no, it's a bad one. Like, here's the thing: the apology was weak by itself. Like, then on top of that, once the apology is over, you then are like, well, I'm not going anywhere. And it's like, oh, all right. Okay, girl. Well, if you're really going to stick to your guns on this one. All right. That's the really sad part. That she just stuck to her guns after it. There is, to your point, the co-opting of the culture. And as a Black woman in particular, this is my experience, the issue at hand becomes when the people that are doing this and they're just like, well, I just want to be a part of the culture. What's the issue? The issue is that Black women in particular are still to this day getting punished for doing something that is in their culture. How many Black girls are still getting in trouble in school for wearing braids?
Exactly.
How many Black girls are still getting in trouble for coloring their hair, for wearing big jewelry, for having long nails? Like, we still have little young Black girls that are getting suspended from literally just participating in the culture that they were born and bred in, that rightfully belongs to them. So when Miley Cyrus does it, when YesJulz does it, and they're not getting the backlash from it, that's when it becomes a problem. At the end of the day, the reason why people and certain people within that community flock to you is because they get all the benefits of a Black woman without any of the not in any of the complexities. It's like, oh, well, you get the purity of the white skin, so it's fine. Oh, it's cool. And that's an issue that we have to rectify within ourselves. There are definitely some dudes in particular too that were really ready to risk it all and fall on the sword just to defend YesJulz in particular. And I was just like, wow, it says a lot where that whiteness is so obtainable. It's something that people seek after, that you're willing to risk it all and die on your sword just to defend this little white girl. It says a lot about you. YesJulz is T Fleek from Mosaic. I said what I said.
For all of you who are reading that terrible comic.
And if you have read just issue 1, you know exactly what I'm talking about, and tell me I'm lying. Don't at me, at your bald-headed uncle. Like, it's the truth. It is true. Like, it's the truth. It's when you have somebody saying, like, and the fact that she was so confident being like, well, I'm a part of the culture and I'm not going anywhere. Well, girl, you can't really say whether or not you are going or not because people have already dismissed you. You were trending nationally. I think it's time for you to pack it up and go home. At least that's what Miley did, because now Miley's making her, pop folk country music again. And here's another thing that irked my spirit. That quote that you quoted of Miley saying, I love the line on Humble, which a lot of Black women had an issue line.
Right.
Says disconnect between the people who are culture vultures and people who actually live it. Because that line was skewing on the Tadpoteppery. Love the song though. Humble's a dope track. I love Damn, but when I heard that line, I was like, that doesn't make me feel good. I don't really like that one. But the fact that you were just like, oh, this is wonderful, and this is what I'm talking about, guys, like doing all of this X, Y, and Z, and it's just like, oh, girl, go that way. Nobody cares about your opinion. You're not here. This is not your home. This is not your family. This is not your life anymore. You gotta pack it up, bruh.
I wish the interviewer would have followed up with, when did you start feeling like this? Because there's a bunch of lyrics that we can point out in songs that you've been on where it's been the antithesis of what you now like. So
People were posting
when
pictures
did
of
this
her
epiphany
dressing
come up?
so crazy.
Yeah, it's like, dude, you're the same woman who was in a bodysuit on Wrecking Ball, tossing your ass on, who was it, Robin Thicke or whoever it was, but now all of a sudden you've come to the epiphany that, you know, oh my God, rap music is so problematic. I just don't like it anymore. I want to get on this pop rock wave now. And it's not just because you're done. You used hip hop culture like a wet wipe, and you threw it away when it best suited you. And the other problem is the whole political connect aspect of these things. Like you said before, people like YesJulz who people won't, and I'll even say it. If you're somebody who's quote unquote popular and you know her in real life, no, you don't have to go on social media to excoriate her. You don't have to do that. But the fact that people would actually go out and cape as if, yo, she does this and she does that. I don't care if you're the most philanthropic person in the history of history. Cultural appropriation is cultural appropriation is cultural appropriation, no matter what you do. Aaron Hernandez killed himself so that his wife and daughter could be financially well off. Does that make him a saint? Or does that make him doing one noble act despite his nature, or at least the nature of what we saw? And I think that's what we have to talk about in terms of your nature and your intentions overall versus the altruistic acts that you perform. That's what we have to really weigh. And you think about it, there's so many situations you could think about it. The classic Justin Timberlake situation with Janet Jackson. How every time this man says something on social media, his mentions are filled with apologize to Janet. How his whiteness allowed him to escape the ridicule and he wasn't impugned at all when it came to that whole CBS situation, which changed the way live TV was shot and handled for years.
Absolutely.
And
even going on the Justin example, even when somebody came at him and he said, oh, you poor soul, the more we can be different, something like that. And people skewered him after that and he had to apologize. You notice, like, directly right after, he started going, like, back to the white life. Like, he did the Troll soundtrack.
Oh, yeah. Because he had to
take a break.
He had it, you know? He had the bandwidth to do so. And that's just what it is. And I'm just really sick and tired of it.
You know what it is? I don't appreciate when you're using my Black culture as a vacation home. And that's what they treat it like. Like, these people, YesJulz, Miley Cyrus, the Katy Perrys, the Justin Biebers of America, they'll come for a summer and a vacation, soak up the sun, drink all the margaritas, and then pop back out to the real world where they got to live their day-to-day life in ordinary privileged whiteness.
Yeah, it's really annoying. It's really annoying, and I'm hoping that people see it now. And you also have to blame the gatekeepers too, the execs, the rappers.
Right,
and sometimes
absolutely.
when it comes to that, you may not think you trying to get into that pop money also. You're trying to get that pop money. You're trying to really you trying to expand your fan base too, where you can make more money. You can get more fans. So a lot of times I think it's innocuous to rap like, yo, fuck it, we gonna throw Miley Cyrus on this hook. We gonna get on Z100. We gonna get on all of that.
Which, like, that's the thing. Like, with great power comes great responsibility.
Facts.
And it's an unnecessary burden as Black creatives that we have to kind of put the world on our back, because that's not fair. Because if one white person fucks up within their community of creatives, it's not the end of the world. They are not a reflection of the broader one. But the truth of the matter is, we are, and that is again a unnecessary burden that we have to live. But truthfully, while we have that burden, we have to be at least and think through, try to reach out to the plane. You can reach out to the broader plane without desecrating your morals and desecrating yourself. So I think that there's a difference. You can definitely reach that broader appeal. I'll give you a perfect example of it. Chance the Rapper, who definitely has that broad stroke appeal, right? And he, on a song that just went #1 with DJ Khaled and Amigos that has Justin Bieber on it. But Chance is Chance, and Chance does not like hide or shy from about his blackness, about his beliefs in God, about his kid, his baby mama, and stuff like that. He's a very honest kid. So not once does he shy from the fact that, I'm a nigga from Chicago. So that's what I appreciate about him. I think you can do both. I think it's not the norm, but if it's something that you really, really, are passionate about, it's doable.
I do agree that too. And I will say, on the other hand, I can't tell whether or not you're co-opting the culture. So if I throw you on a hook or something like that, I can err on the side of caution and say, you know what? I'm not going to do that. But I can't look at somebody and say, if they have an opportunity, because labels are involved. That's why I say you got to blame the execs. You got to blame everybody. Labels are involved.
No,
people
absolutely.
are pressing
but examples
you.
For
people are doing all of that.
Like a Mike Will with Miley Cyrus. I feel like that was a very clear, red flag.
Right.
Me.
Right. I hear what you're saying. And my biggest thing is, like, someone like Bieber. Bieber's been around us for a minute. So at this point, I can't really, and he's done both sides of the music. So for someone like him, you could tell he's someone where it's like, I've been around black people for a minute, especially in this game. Like, this is just what it is. Like, the day Bieber does some shit like that, that's when I'm like, you know what? You got to shut it down. We got to build a wall. Cause
but he did. Do you remember that video that came out when he was much younger? Like, maybe, I'd probably say like 15, 16.
Mm-hmm.
When he did a joke saying the word nigger. Did you not remember this?
Yeah, I remember that. But you see, for me, that's a little different. That's just being ignorant. That's just being an ignorant person, as opposed to him saying, I don't fuck with black music. That's the difference. Like, if we're going to talk about the whole spectrum, I would agree with you. I would agree with you. Yeah. Like, he did something ignorant. Like, it's just, you live as a person of color in this country for a while. Like, some ignorant shit is gonna happen. It's just what it is. Some ignorant shit, like somebody white will say something ignorant at some point, and you're just like, do I go full measure, or do I go half measure with how I respond to it? But feel free, anybody listening, correct me if I'm wrong. If he has denounced at some point, I've never heard it. But the thing is,
and again, correct me if I'm wrong, because I don't remember. My thing is that when it comes, and I agree with you, when it comes to saying something ignorant, I think in particular saying nigga, or any variation of the thing of it, in this day and age, if you are going to use the excuse of I didn't know no better, you already take that L. Because somebody like a YesJulz, and even the way she posted it was mad cheeky and smug. Like, can I wear this shirt? Eyeball emoji. Girl, you can't.
She knew what the fuck she was doing. And that's the thing. Like, don't start crying because I did something wrong. No, you were trying to be snarky. You were trying to be snarky. And the fact that she came back as adamant that, I'm here now and this is what I'm doing, that shows me, all right, you knew what the fuck you were doing. So no, I don't have sympathy for you.
When you posted it, then you didn't apologize about the fact that people found audio and video of you saying, "What's up, little nigga?"
Right.
Never responded to that either. And your response to all of it was after crying on Snapchat, which, how you crying on Snapchat? It's only 10 seconds. How do you keep those tears up? Which is neither here nor there. But like the fact that you're just like, well, I'm a part of the culture, so I'm gonna just be here. And I'm like, but you do know that if we say you're not a part of the culture, hey, bro, you're not a part of the culture. Nah. It takes people, to your point, like the gatekeepers, canceling her off of 2 shows, in Toronto. It takes people like that being like, yo, you can't do vibes on at our venue. We're not doing that
Yeah,
because we know who you are now. Like, it takes a community of people who are quite frankly funding these quote unquote influencers in YesJulz cases and defining what do influencers mean. Like, I work in marketing. We talk about influencers all the time. I personally, in my personal opinion, don't believe in influencer marketing, but maybe it's because I've been on Twitter that has aged and hardened me to a to a place where I don't really see it for influencers. You know what I mean?
That's what it's about now, though. I tell you that much, because you just want to connect with that community. But I get it. You old school marketing, so it's like
yeah. Like I understand / get it, and I know what the trends are, and I recognize what the trends are. I do think that there is, as more guardrails come up, and it's like a side tangent, but like as more guardrails come up in terms of what we can or cannot do in influencer marketing, it's going to become less or less interesting, because now we have guardrails where you have to put #spawn, #ad, which I think it cuts the amount of like infiltration to that consumer. When you see the ad and the sponsor, then on the top of your head, you know automatically like, oh, they're getting paid for this.
Right.
So I can't take them at face value on it. They're just trying to get paid. So I do think that that influencer marketing, let's say 5 years ago, was a lot more effective than it is now. But now, because we have a lot of, metrics and guardrails that we have to make sure that we don't get sued, then it's not as effective. But that's off a tangent. But the point is that like we have a lot of influencers. What is an influencer? How are they influencing? If I am somebody who owns a company that wanted to do a partnership with a YesJulz, her influence, the buck stops here, because you're influencing all the negative things that I don't want aligned with my brand. And so who made her and gave her that space to be an influencer in the first place is always my first question. I didn't know who she was until like maybe 3 weeks ago, hand to God. Like, one of my friends came to visit me and he was like, on Instagram, he's like, man, I can't stand YesJulz. I was like, who's that? Because I'm a grandma and I don't really care. I really don't. Like, I just don't be caring about these influencers. I'm going to be honest with you. I stay just in the loop to do my job well. But then after that, I'm like, girl, I don't care. And I was like, who's that? I don't know who this is. And he had explained it to me and I was like, I don't get it. Like, okay, whatever. And then all this happened and I was like, oh, girl, yeah. That's why I didn't get it.
Yeah, the biggest thing for me is, as important as it is for us as consumers and to be vigilant about people co-opting our culture, the people inside the culture, and that goes for me too. You have to, like, the fellow influencers, the people who are who know these people, or the people who give them access. You have to be accountable too, man. Like, if you have a personal relationship with them, you need to check them. If you really care about it like that. And the caping that I saw for especially in that YesJulz situation is, people on Twitter already are obtuse as fuck. But it's like some of the excuses, as if philanthropy can wash away any error. As if, I love the one excuse of, well, she's representing the culture better than other people, so why do y'all care? Y'all only care when blah, 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 blah. And it's like, yo, we don't have the right to care when we want to care? You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't have the right to care when we want to care. And it's like, all right, you want to stay on people's good side. You want to be on some yes man tip. You want to do all of that. Fine. For me, nah. I don't rock with that, and I've been a little bit asleep when it comes to, especially with the entertainment aspect, when I thought I was looking at it from an optimistic point of view, but that Miley Cyrus shit really set me off, because like, who do you think you are to come in, and as a rap fan, I can acknowledge that we have a lot of issues with rap, and it's been like that for generations. But don't come in, benefit from it, get all your cosigns, and then say, you know what, guys, I'm good, because you're utilizing this as a rebellious phase. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is your rebellious phase, where you're coming out, and there's also the sexuality aspects, and it's just really bad. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, it's frustrating, to say the least. And it's something that Richie Colazzo was saying, just reading some of the tweets. Everything is peaches and cream until the coming of age era. That's when shit suddenly gets blacker. To white people, all black music is adult. Black music to them is taboo. Black music is sassy. Black music is maturity to them. Their new adult image is funneled by black features, black producers, and black culture. Their maturity equals blackening up their sound and look. Their coming of age era is always a pop with R&B hip hop influence sound and overt sexiness to go along with it. And they make sure to show us how grown they are, and they collaborate with black people because, again, black music equals maturity. But once they find out being black only gets you so far with white audiences, suddenly their image is toned down and clean cut again, because all black music and blackness is to white pop singers is a chance to show us how grown and nasty they can be. And that's why Miley will make that type of quote. Like, that's real. That's 100% real. Like, it's almost like they grow up, they become a, it's like your rebellious teenage adult phase. And then once they hit that peak, I hit the eject button in the black community, and it's like, my white brothers and sisters, I have returned from the land of perdition to reclaim my shattered soul. Please accept me with open arms. And they do. It's like, all right, you experimented, now come back home. And that's fucked up, because we're still here getting all the negativity for a culture that across all spectrums of entertainment is known that it equals money and it equals coolness and it equals what's hot, because we're more often than not the barometer of what's cool.
It is a profitable business, because we are now in a space where, as the internet grows, so does the reach and the audience. And so back in its inception for like hip hop, where it really was a space for black defiance, black excellence, black bragging, and just kind of black celebration, there's still traces of that in it today, but it's become a profitable career. So what happens when people realize, oh, this shit makes money. Let me just, jump in and out, because it gives that cross appeal. It gives that edginess that I don't think a lot of white artists maybe back in the day was interested in that they are now. Right. They want that cross appeal, like, because black people are very loyal with their dollars, quite frankly. Not necessarily in terms of music, but just we have a large like purchasing power. And so if you get us as a fan, we for the most part can stay loyal to you. Yeah, well,
shout out to everybody who had an opinion on this. It was something that I wanted to talk about, and it just amazes me when people are able to just shed our skin, just like a cosplay. You wear it, you go to the events, you go to your various cons, which are your concerts, which are your constituents, and you present this face, and then you take it off at the end of the day, and you're who you are. And that's what's been happening with a lot of the cultures. And if we as people who are every hip hop or black culture person should be the gatekeepers of it, so that you should be a gatekeeper, and you should be somebody who looks at it and says, I'm not going to let this happen. So hopefully that doesn't continue to happen. Anything else from you, Miss Joy?
No, nothing from me. As usual, great talk with Jeff. One in the future, we got to make it our business to meet midway in a borough and do this live.
That's the thing with technology. It just makes it so easier to
and it does, but like, it would be good to see you in person. So we just have to do it live so we can see each other's facial expressions just one time.
I'm working on it. Trust me. I'm working on it, especially for the people who are in New York. It's like, we got to meet up somewhere and just do it.
You know what? And that's the thing. I've never had the experience of like recording in an actual studio. Because to your point, it's just the internet is... It's just so easy and accessible, but like, if the ones that are in the city, we got to do it at least once.
Yeah, we gonna make it happen. We definitely are, for sure. But that's it from you, and that's it from me. Thank you so much for joining, Joy.
Of course, always happy to join and shoot the shit. And even if it's on a Sunday, shoot the shit with you.
Right. Joining with Joy. The new series.
That's my new tagline. Perfect.
Joining with Joy tour coming to a podcast near you. Where can they find you?
Twitter. I guess you can follow me on Instagram if you want. Like Jump for Joy. But mostly I'm on Twitter talking about nerd stuff, marketing and tech stuff, because that's my career. About how Wonder Woman deserves all the love, and you are not gonna disrespect her name. And casual comic fan. So I usually talk with these guys and see what's going on. So that's what you'll catch me doing on Twitter.
Catch her outside on the tweets talking about comics.
Yeah, no, I'm like a casual comic book fan. So like when I see people be getting riled up, I just be like, "What happened?"
She's like, "Yo, I'm washed. I'm not even." I'm
right.
washed,
like
so.
I really just be like, "Oh, so what happened? Like, why are we mad today?
Yeah,
what's going on?"
Yeah, I just be waiting because sometimes I'll see stuff on my Twitter feed and I'm like, "Yup, y'all trying to start me up? Nope. I'm gonna keep scrolling. I'll fuck it up my talk."
No, but what I peep about you, Jeff, is that you'll come in like midway, make one or two comments, and then tap back out.
Oh yeah, that's the smoke bomb. That's the smoke bomb. We used to call that back in the day. That was the smoke bomb on Twitter, where you come into a conversation or you drop one thing and everybody's like, "What the fuck?" and then you just don't come back for like months or like hours, and then you come back like, "Yo, is everything okay?" It's like, yo, how you would check out the conversation like that? It's like sometimes I'm talking and I'm doing other shit, and then I'll get caught up, and then I come back like, "Oh yeah, there was a conversation going on." And shout out to the Twitter in case you missed it feature, because I'll find shit and I'm like, "Oh no, we starting this back up. I wasn't here, but I'm here now."
I gotta put my 2 cents in right now.
I'm like, "Yo, I'm like," or when you miss a joke and you're like, "Yo, are we still joking about this? Because I got some fire. If not, let me know. I'll hold it." But yeah, that's what it is. Enjoy it. I always enjoy having you on the show, and thank you guys for listening. As always, you can catch us on social media, Nonstop Culture everywhere. We're on iTunes, SoundCloud, and to subscribe to our show, go to nonstopculture.com/subscribe. You'll find all your subscription needs there. Email us info@nonstopculture.com for any questions, and go on iTunes, leave us a 5-star review. We'll read it on air and love to hear from you and see what you think of the show. And that's about it. Thank you for joining Nonstop Culture. And until next time, we'll catch you later. Peace.
Bye, guys.